Hello, hello. Ask and you shall receive. So I've had a lot of requests and a lot of positive feedback on my last few videos that's made me feel really good. And now what most people are saying is, are you going to continue Quest for the Best? A lot of comments about that. A lot of people not happy that I up and dropped it. And so, I got time. All we're doing is filling that time for that next digital thing from Magic. So, yeah, why not? Let's continue Quest for the Best. Let's do it. So, for those of you who might be new to this, which is probably none of you, but what the heck, it's where we try to find the best deck in the game. We see how many wins it can get without picking up a second loss. So a Quest for the Best record would be something like 19-1. I believe the winner last season was 22-1, and that was Mardu Vehicles, for those wondering. And what we do first is we have qualifiers. So we build a deck that we like, I like, whatever it is, and we take it out and we play 5 or 6 games, with the requisite being if the deck gets to 5-0 or 6-1, we will continue it in the next round of Quest for the Best, where we will then play probably 10 games. As soon as a deck picks up a second loss, it is eliminated, and that is what you need to know. So red-green Cathartic Ramp, we're going to start with that deck. A few quick changes. We took out the Collective Defiance because it only ever got used as a removal spell, and I think something cheaper would do better, so we replaced it with of Ignition, as it does have some of the highest blowout potential of any card in Magic Duels, and especially in a deck that plays big old monsters like this. So that's the list we're going to be running. And viewer, if you are out there, I forget the name, I apologize for that, but if we win a game thanks to that Chandra's Ignition instead of a Collective's Defiance, you are responsible. If we lose a game because it's Chandra's Ignition, not Collective Defiance, that's on me. I'll take the fall. Let's roll. Neon City wants to ask how my monument is doing, by the way, even though clearly 4-color control is the way to go now. That's a reference to the Star City Games results from over the weekend. 4-color control won in the finals against the Blue-White Monument. Well, my Monument deck, there's actually 3 of them. I have 3 different ones. And if we have time, and if this qualifier goes smooth, we might work on that today as well. But I'm sure at the least you'll see that in the near future, a video coming up. And I have 3 different builds, like I said, and all 3 of them are doing well. I can't even decide. I really can't decide which build is right. So I might have to do 3 different builds of it. So, there you go. Alright, this hand, you never want Ulamog early, but better than not having it at all sometimes. And if this were a 6-card hand, I would like it. On the play, I will keep you. We'll also play the turn 1 mountain for the intimidation factor. Because, we want them to know that if they play something, we might shock it. We want them scared. We're just going to intimidate them right out of their turn 1 toolcraft because they know we'll shock it. We're just going to scare them right out of the building. Turn 1 forest, go. I can deal with this. Do we grapple on turn 2? Oof, with nothing going on, that's kind of a tough call. I don't need a land. I do need a creature. But my creatures are big. Aside from Tireless Tracker, it's unlikely I'll hit anything I'm casting anytime soon. So the question is, how important is the window? I don't think it's very important, especially when I might get censored. So I'm not going to do it. And I want to leave a mountain in hand to play for the clue for the tracker. Although, I guess what I can do right now is I can discard Ulamog and a forest to reunion. See, I want to play tracker into mountain in case I have a shock available for it. So I will play a forest. I will not discard my mountain. I will cast Cathartic Reunion. I will discard Ulamog and the other forest. We can always get ulamog later when we have plenty of lands if we have a grapple with the past or an other similar card around. TGB, you've started playing paper again. Interesting. Yeah, just a little. It's, you know, it feels like the meta from hell is gone now that Aetherworks Marvel and, you know, they banned 6 cards. It looks like a pretty fun format, so yeah, I'm digging in a little. Alright, that's a lot of untapped mana. I'm not in a rush. But if I play Tracker and it's countered, maybe next turn I get to resolve Nissa. I can always try to get back with a grapple. I hate playing into a sensor though. Maybe doing nothing's right with a ramp deck, right? It's an interesting call. So it's hard to tell if we're up against control or if they're just gonna drop the frickin' Bounding Crassus on end step. But I think I'll take this route. I've got to get some information. I need information. I don't have any right now. And the information I got is no counterspell. So I'm not sure what that deck is doing, but it is not countering things. Whew, you guys are chatty. I'm going to have trouble keeping up with that. Let's see. Explosive veggies. All right, it's a ramp deck. Now we've got info. Glad I played something. Let's see. Hey, Mort, have you heard anything from either Vasi or Zen? Seems to be taking forever. I don't know what they're talking about. That's something else. That's something totally else. I'm just the peasant. No. Oh, that must be King of the Hill, iOS. That must be the discussion. Game of Thrones, anyone? Yeah, baby. Game of Thrones. Very much enjoyed that last night. Hope you're all with me on that. So many good things. Don't want to give any away, though. It's one of those shows you don't want to spoil it for people, and I am not here to do that. All right, let's put them to the test. Now, they went and they got some white mana, so we're up against Bant Ramp. A lot that could mean. But let's put them to the test right now. I'm expecting Nissa to get cast out. Their hand must have some useful cards in it. You just don't keep hands that are as anemic as this hand from our opponent has acted. So I'm expecting a cast out or something that I'm not going to like, but can't hold back. Can't hold back. So, what's it gonna be? We've got a Regal Caracal. Well, that isn't very high on the fear factor for me. Where's that one of Chandra's Ignition? Let's go find it. We got a few removal spells. We're doing okay. All right. Opponent was holding. They're either holding a sensor, a fog, or a walking ballista are the most likely things if they're holding priority at that point. We'll have to think about that. And we have a decision. We have a pretty big decision. We have a Nissa Vital Force. I can do a decent job keeping my opponent from attacking it, so it isn't unheard of to keep it on the battlefield. At the same time, an emblem in a ramp deck drawing a ton of cards seems really hard to beat. At the same time, we are getting clues right now from our tracker. So, is this an emblem situation? I don't think our opponent... We are oddly behind on cards, and the board is getting closer to parity. Our opponent's got to have something in there. I think an emblem might be the right play, because I doubt they can keep up with us if we emblem. So I'm going to take that road. But it's one of those moments that's tough to... It's a tough call, right? You kind of want it all. All right, draw that. Draw that. Right now, grapple is only for the Mog, but we've got some sweet removal spells to blow up combat and clues to crack, so I think attacking is good. If there is a fog, I will regret it. But let's find out. See what our opponent wants to do here. No blocks. Fog. Perfect. Of course. Why not? Alright. Well, I don't have any creatures I can play for 4 aside from another tracker, so better to crack a clue than grapple here. Yep, got one for 5 though. I know what I'm doing next turn, and we'll leave mana up from this point. And I believe currently our bombardment is not hitting. Ooh, hello. So what does this do? Probably ticks up. I mean, he could exile Tracker, but at this point it's like a card advantage race. He's tapped out. I guess we can play around a Blossoming Defense from here if we put a spell in the graveyard and cast the Impulse. Let's wait till it attacks, though. Let's see what his Ajani wants to do. If it minuses, no prob. Okay. And now let's see if he goes all in. Just you two. I think I'll just get these out of my hand. Card advantage shouldn't be a huge issue going forward. So this bombardment gives me spell mastery, which means this impulse hits for 3. And then this clue will get me another card. More land. More land. Gotta love the land. Alright. I'm in no hustle to use the Evolving Wilds, but so I'll just try to make the most of my turn by also getting to crack a clue here. But Glorybringer, go bring me that glory. What a good time for a 4/4 hasty dragon type against it. Then when there is a planeswalker chilling, right? Bang, bang, bang. Mega Beast has a great blurb about Game of Thrones. Love the show, but there are so many storylines. It takes 5 minutes of progression. Thus, we barely get anywhere. Yeah, man. So, like, that could put me on a Game of Thrones rant really easy, which is mainly this, right? We only get 7 episodes this season. For those who don't know, we only get 7 frickin' episodes this whole season. Oh, my lord. So, I am, like, hypercritical of every second of screen time, because we only get about 5 minutes of each character an episode. So every time that you'd have to do something, like have Arya stop and eat some squirrel with some people in the woods, I am highly critical of how important this information is going to be in the future. And I hope, like, so it has to mean something. And I'm sure it does, because Game of Thrones, it's a good show, smart people write it, but man, oh man. Some scenes I'm just like, come on, guys, move it. Move it. We only have so much time with our Game of Thrones. I need this. I need it to move along. That's a good draw. But for now, we'll keep the glory being brought, shall we? Should I exert? If Glorybringer is likely to die, exerting is fine, but killing a 1/1 just doesn't do it for me. So I think I'll just force my opponent's hand with a removal spell, because if they don't have a removal spell, or if they don't want to play a removal spell, it makes their turn really awkward to play a creature into the Glorybringer. Solemn offering on my clue. Maybe. Maybe he was trying to solemnly offer my Glorybringer. That would be pretty good. Yeah, Ed Sheeran in the woods. I mean, maybe that was all promotional. It doesn't seem very much like HBO to do that, though. To be honest, it doesn't seem like their thing. Although I was very excited about it at the time. Some of you strike me as more hardcore listener, but me, I like a good pop song from Ed at the appropriate time. My wife liked the song. I was like, coming soon. It'll be a hit. Just you wait. That's a good draw. That Cloud Blazer might be a blinkable. If it is, Ballista might be a good play, as it will keep the Blazer from blinking. Do I care if it blinks, though, compared to just going Omnath on him? I don't think I care if I'm Omnathing. That just doesn't make sense. So if he wants to blink the Cloud Blazer, I think I just let him do it right now, because we're both just going to be drawing our decks, and I'm going to be casting Ulamog. If my opponent's casting a bunch of value stuff and I'm casting Ulamog, I think that's okay. And eventually huge walking ballistas, of course. So I think if he wants to blink this Cloud Blazer, we just let that happen. And I'm not going to exert, because that's just playing into the blink. This way he can do the block blink if he wants to. But then I'm just going to attack again and have the exert option again next turn, which I think is better. It does feel like Sansa has to stop being mean to Littlefinger, Mega Beast. He's just too sneaky. And, I mean, he hasn't exactly... Like, they ain't married, and even if they were, she'd probably have to watch her back. Alright, so he chumps. That guy will do whatever he wants to do, so you should probably be, in some way, nice to him. Alright. So if I crack this now, I'll have to discard. I guess that's fine. I can discard the Drownyard Temple. And this way, I think we're pretty sure to get another 5/5. We always get mountains, because Nissa's Pilgrimage only gets forests. And pass turn and discard Drownyard Temple. Grip of the Royal. So we getting tapped. Alright, he's going to lock down Glorybringer for a hot minute. And we're on Ulamog mana. Okay, so he's going for the clue. I can crack it here, or I can get back Ulamog and cast it. I mean, I know which one I do in a vacuum. But since I already have Killer board, I think I'll just sack this and negate that 4 life. And it's gonna see what else happens from here. And let's see, we can attack for 15, which means we just need to shock the lifelink kitty, turn the Omnath and his minions sideways, and we will take game 1. I've got a problem. I can't update my panels. I usually keep track of my record in the panels. I gotta go get a notebook. I'm no longer in my office, so I don't have access to a computer while I play. No worries, this can all be remedied. It will be alright. No one will die. Right this minute, anyway. There's a book. There's always more notebooks around in this house. Alright. Once more into the fray. The girls at work want a Jon Snow and Daenerys romance. I think that sounds nauseating. Well, I mean, if you're already, if you've been watching the show for a little while and you're already past the whole sex with your cousin, sex with your brother thing, then you can want whatever you want, I suppose. But let's not pretend that's not the case. People want strange things. I can definitely put that out there. Alright, back into combat. And that hand will not do. This hand will. Pretty good hand. We get the early removal. Grapple, make sure we keep hitting land drops, or perhaps find a bridge spell to play. If we get a ramp spell, or just survive until turn 5, we're in great shape. And we're going to open on blue. I will open on red, leaving up the chance to zap something if I want to. Yeah, Oblivion Sower still makes some appearances. He was in a standard deck over the weekend on the SCG Tour. So, standard has finally caught up to what duels players already know, that this card is the nuts. I mean, nuts might be too strong. It's a decent card. If you've got to have some Eldrazi in your deck, or you just want to bridge the gap and get to Ulamog without casting cards that aren't always good, like Nissa's Renewal, it's probably a good choice. So, our Cathartic Reunion's in a very weird spot. I can definitely discard a land, because I can always get it back with grapple. What's the other discard? I think right now it can be a galvanic bombardment. I'm likely to draw another removal spell, and our opponent has us under no pressure at this time. Also, off 2 blue, I'm not sure what creature they would play for 2 or 3 mana that I'd have to kill on sight. Even a Jace Vryn's Prodigy isn't that big of a deal. So, you and you. No complaints. Found plenty more lands and a walking ballista. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lag spike. I certainly did not. And our opponent is sitting tight. I think I will just get on the battlefield here and play around Censor, although they could have an Essence Flux for the counter. And this will be a good mana sink. We continue working our way up the food chain. We have a Chandra waiting in the wings. Our opponent is missing land drops. Never good to be on that side of things. And we discarded a mouth to feed, so some other colors in there. Might be the same opponent as last time, which means we're on Fog Watch, of course. But we'll just try to ramp up the pressure here. Pun intended. They discard an Arborback Stomper, so just not enough lands being drawn. Mega Beast, is Walking Ballista an auto-include in non-control lists these days? I don't think so. I think it has to have some kind of synergy with other things going on in the deck. The thing is that some of the most powerful synergies are artifact synergies or ramp synergies, and that basically means that Walking Ballista is strong. So that's how I think it ends up getting included a lot. Ramp strategies are good. Artifact synergies are good. There are other synergies, like the fact that it's a 0-cost creature, that make it do interesting things with certain other cards in the format. Examples like Avacyn, Scrap Trawler, Bygone Bishop. There's just things. Auto-include, nah, but just enough synergy and doing just enough things right to get included often. I really love this ramp deck, this version of it anyway. I call it Cathartic Ramp because I think Cathartic Reunion is not an auto-include in many ramp decks, but it feels so right so often, especially with the whole spell mastery side to it, the Nissa's Pilgrimage side to it, and just the ability to filter out your bad cards and hopefully turn them into big monsters. It feels a lot better than playing I hope I draw a big monster this turn ramp. So this hand is weird. And this is one of those hands that is hard to get away from. Like if I draw a Cathartic Reunion for this hand could be excellent. As it is, it's not very resilient, but Ballista can just foil some decks, so I'm going to try it, and I'm not thrilled about it, but let's see where it goes. It's basically a 6 land hand, or an 8 land hand if you look at it that way, but we are a ramp deck. We should use those lands better than our opponents can. If they're not very aggressive, hey, wow, that's right on time. What do I want to discard? Actually, maybe I want a pilgrimage first and reunion later. Maybe it's too soon to reunion because I wouldn't know what I'm doing. I also don't want to play ballista and just have it get fatal pushed. I think I'll hold off till it's bigger. I did say if I draw a reunion, my hand is looking all right. It certainly is now, because wherever my hand goes from here, we can fix it up a little bit. So it looks like next turn is a pilgrimage. The turn after that is a pilgrimage and a reunion, depending on what's left in my life. And here comes the zombos. Woohoo! All right. Doesn't Cathartic plus Pilgrimage enable spell mastery, though? It only would if I discarded another Pilgrimage. And there's an argument for that. I think I'm right to ask for more information right now before I decide what to discard. I'd hate to discard 2 lands to my Cathartic Reunion or land in a ramp spell, and then be short on the lands I need later. Or say never draw my second red is another thing that could happen in that situation. The way this is shaping up, it'll be pretty easy to discard 2 forests on turn 5 and ramp again, and then go nuts. Then we can start doing big ballista ramp things. It would be different also if we were under more pressure. So if I feel a lot of pressure to either play the ballista or the reunion then. But I don't feel much pressure right now, that is for sure. Alright, well, we showed him that we discarded 2 forests. Now we can ramp 2 forests. One forest left in deck. Good to know. Before I go casting another Nissa's Pilgrimage. In fact, I can probably discard this Pilgrimage if I need to, but it looks like I have exactly 7 at the moment. And we have an opponent stuck on lands. Very unfortunate, but that Crypt Breaker has shown up. Card can be a pain, but Walking Ballista will enjoy munching on a Crypt Breaker, or Glorybringer might. We have to decide. Regardless, our opponent's in for a rough turn. Okay, Evolving Wilds. So our options are we can Ballista for 3 and kill this, and then have a 2/2. We can also play a Forest, Ballista for 3, leave up Fiery Impulse, and kill this. We can also play Glorybringer, exert it. Then we could kill this, and we could Impulse this. Now all his stuff's dead, and we have a 4/4 dragon that he doesn't even have the mana to grasp right now. And then we have an extra mana, so we can Evolving Wilds as well. So I think I can dig that line, because then we can Ballista for 4/4 next turn. Oh, those moments when you spend your time analyzing just how best to devastate your opponent. Some have a lot of fun with that. I hope it's not too rude to take time thinking and then show that I have all good options. I always feel a little bad doing that, but not too bad. And it looks like our opponent has still not solved their mana woes. Their draw has not come together. And I'll accept a concession at this point. Well, actually I don't think that's warranted, because if our opponent has a Fatal Push, and then they untap and draw Grasp of Darkness, they're basically in the game, because we've drawn a lot of land. So I'm going to finish up. Let the land drop misses continue. No fatal push at this moment. Our draw of lands has been rather relentless. But let's get pumped. I think it's a much better use than getting one forest out of our deck with the pilgrimage. And I believe this is just lethal if it resolves here. Tap, tap. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo. Bang, 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 machine gun style. All right, 3 wins. Waiting for a more competitive event. We've had our opponents have had some mana trouble. Let's hope that doesn't carry into the next game. Neon says that MDN keeps track of turns. Always miss that feature in duels. Can you tell me what MDN is? I feel like an idiot, but maybe it's just not coming to mind what that stands for. Megaby says, GG's, good to catch up. Talk to you soon. Talk to you later as well. Thanks for coming by. Digital Next. So MDN stands for Magic Digital Next. It says it keeps track of turns. Where'd you get that? Has there been a press release? Or was this part of the old one? The original release? Maybe I didn't pay enough attention to it because I don't remember that. Oh, I hope it does. Oh, I get it. Hope MDN keeps track of turns. Yeah. It's always good to have a stamp to show the Reddit universe what you did on turn 4 with a screenshot, right? It's one thing to do 1,000,000 damage. It's another thing if it took you 30 turns to set it up. Dies to removal. All right, this is a grizzled Magic veteran no matter what, because they understand what dies to removal means. And man, Drownyard Temple coming back to haunt us right here. Too bad, that hand is good otherwise, and this hand is already a 6-card hand because of Ulamog, so I have to toss that back as well, and we can keep this, but if we are under pressure, this is going to be a rough one. Okay, opening with a Sunken Hollow. Seems control-y. Gonna have to decide on this grapple, but I'm pretty sure I want to hold it against a control or slow deck. We've got some talk in chat about Magic Digital Next, and if it's not free, people won't play. A frustration I certainly understand. I wonder if I'm supposed to play a pilgrimage into this. You certainly don't like getting censored, but I don't feel short on lands, and these grapples can be lands as well, so I will try it. Okay, censor it is. I think there are worse things to get censored with a ramp deck. But if we're playing against Super Drago, we're already down 2 cards because of mulligans. Gonna make this challenging. And there's a brawl. Brawl, brawl. Brawl, brawl, brawl. Oh boy. Okay. This makes sure that grapple hits. There's always a chance of it whiffing if I don't have an Evolving Wilds, but I'll just fire that off now. Guess I'll take the untapped land for later. And we did hit spells, so close to a whiff. Here we're going to tell some time or cycle something. Alrighty. Glorybringer, not good in this matchup. Like, pretty actively bad. Removal spell kills it. It does nothing. Gotta catch him tapped out or something like that to get any value out of it. So we just gotta be patient for sure. And now if our opponent glimmers here, they're way ahead. Yep. But not a lot to be done. I will just hold off on this grapple though. You almost want it countered. Right now, our only real strategy can be to draw better cards. I mean, that's fine. That is something I can certainly attack, and I can take out the brawl. So, like the best opportunity, I'll have to bring some glory. And I'm definitely just going to exert it, because it's unlikely it will live. I'll at least keep him off ultimate for a while, but our opponent will get to draw plenty of cards. And we just need the top of our deck to get friendly. Because if we get to a spot where we can cast big things that are hard to deal with on our opponent, we'll be okay. Also, there is a Gaeas Revenge that would probably come in very handy. If we can grapple our way to that, hallelujah. But I don't want to grapple my way to more lands. And let's see if he kills this Glorybringer. Ooh, you. That's a problem. That's a problem. I guess I try to grapple and find the other Glorybringer or anything useful. Jeez, oh Pete's. Well, I'm glad I got all those lands off the top of my deck. But that's not gonna do me any good this turn. Just not the draw. We've had the wrong draw this game. The wrong draw. No threats. All land and grapples. I'm going to thin the deck a little more, but I'm not convinced that's going to help me much. Hour of Devastation would be pretty duels good, that is for sure. If we had gotten the mill card from Hour of Devastation, duels would be ruined. Better to give us nothing than that card, right? Oh my. True that, true that. So my opponent has double docket now, and we are at risk of getting lit up. But if they don't have a solution for this attack, well, we're still a ways off, right? We're on 8, 9, then 10. We're not going to get there if this Glorybringer doesn't get to attack, and here comes a disperse. My god. Really? Oh, that hurts. That burns. So do we put it back out there? Or do we grapple and try to do something else? I guess we might hit a hydra. Hydra would be okay. Although it just died to Obnixilis. What's even good here? Anything we put out just dies to Obnixilis. So I guess I want to grapple and try to find anything better than what I have. Jeez, oh Pete's. The brutality. How much land can we do? So right now he attacks me for 12. We need another turn. Need another turn. Where do we get it? Gotta think about your whole deck. Gotta think about what you could draw. I do need to chump if he has any spell If he has any spell, I lose. Oh, man. So, I believe, well, the deck list, you can find the deck list. It's right there in the feed, if you want to ask me how much land is in it. Yep, that should do it. Disperse what? Just going off here. Just going off. That's gonna be our first loss. No regrets, really. I think that was just the wrong draw against control by a mile. Just the wrong draw. For things I could have done different, I don't see it. Maybe the keep was... Let's see, the keep was like pilgrimage, grapple, glorybringer. Yeah, I can't get away from that. But I think that one just went wrong. All right, so we're gonna be on the bubble. We gotta win 2 in a row if this deck wants to keep rolling. Nice that Quest for the Best is back, says Omega. Yeah, the overwhelming response was that people wanted it to continue here and on YouTube. So I got time. I got time. I definitely have time. Nothing but time while we wait for that Digi next. Maybe when they give us a release date is when I'll have to start the actual playoffs, because there's no lack of decks I can try. Not really. Yeah, can't really get away from that hand either. I guess this is a draw that would have helped me a lot if I grappled into it, but I mean, we haven't even seen this card until now, and we're a long ways off of Delirium in this hand, so that's not very optimistic, but let's see what happens. Hey, a sorcery. Now we're getting close. Pilgrimage, one of the best cards in the deck, for sure, when you're doing, whether you're getting 2 lands or 3. It makes it so we can run less rampy spells. There's not explosive vegetation, for example. We can do without it. And here comes Speed Racer, so possible vehicle matchup, possible just superhuman aggro matchup. I think we'll play this in case we draw a Cathartic Reunion. Although Thalia, I guess if Thalia comes down we can kill it, so it would not wreck our plans that badly. No Thalia this turn. But double Speed Racer. I think I can wait and nail him with this. Even though it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt! Brace for impact. Having a thought. Maybe checking for ambush vipers in the format. That would be green creatures with flash. Oh, you got it. Omnath. Interesting. Let's see if he goes for a vehicle here. And see what the opponent wants to play. A racer. We'll fire this off now. Built to Smash is a card that could save one of his speed racers and deal damage to me, but it can only be cast in combat. It says target attacking creature. So playing that pre-combat, I think, is a safe choice. I wouldn't be... I don't see a lot of Built to Smash around, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it out of this deck that we're playing against. So there is a triple speed racer. showed up in triplicate, and they all faced Kozileks return. And now it is a renegade wheelsmith. So the vehicle theme continuing, but no vehicles yet. And that bodes well, as we're going to be able to get into Gaea's revenge range here, although we are down on our red mana. So do we already have spell mastery? We do. I may end up playing it main phase anyway if I have too many cards in my hand. It's going to be close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we can wait. Siege modification. Perfect. Built to last. Not the one I expected, and a bit of a blowout right there. Should I have played around built to last? If I expect built to smash, is it right to play around built to last? I don't know. It's one of those judgment calls that is very tough in the moment. Easy in hindsight, tough in the moment. Another removal spell. I can definitely do that. And then what do I have? 7? So I can play Gaea's Revenge. That's probably a good play. Fleetwheel Cruiser could knock us to 1. I think my opponent would have played that the turn before if they had it when they cast Speed Racer. And I think they would have played it last turn if they had it too instead of Siege Modification. Although no, because they had the build to last. So what are the chances they have it? I'm sure they have it in their deck. Do they have it in their hand? Am I supposed to attack them with this Gaea's Revenge? I do have to win the game. The sooner I start beating them up, the better. But also the longer the game goes, the better positioned I am. So it's a tough mix. This now, and not get blown out by built to last anymore. And I'm pretty sure we're quite off. We are. And I'm going to sit back on my Gaea's Revenge, as it's a 3-turn clock, and I don't know enough about my opponent's hand. I can't say with confidence that they lack a Fleetwheel Cruiser or other haste threat. I think it is quite reasonable that they'd have one. So I want more permanence on the battlefield before I start attacking. Yes. Well, I guess we will test them for combat tricks. Oh, wait. Hold on. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to play one of these regardless. Probably this one. Yeah, I'm going to play this regardless. So let's see if my opponent tries to kill Gaea's Revenge in combat with, say, another pump spell. We can take advantage with the bombardment and get the blowout. Nope, not this time. All right, now let's test him. No. Okay, now we're just going to play 3-5 here. But a 3-5 reach, it's not too bad in this spot, as mopey as it may appear on paper. Opponent with a fresh draw, probably not a land, probably something they can play there. And get the opponent to 1. What could we draw that would end the game? I guess if I discard Omnath and Tireless Tracker, a Glorybringer could end the game here. No, it couldn't, because I cannot get 2 red sources onto the field. So I think I'll discard my 2 red cards, since I'm lacking that red source. I'll probably draw it, There's a good chance, but it's no guarantee. And there, of course, we do not draw it. No land of any type. Alright, I will send with Gaea's Revenge. I think there is a reasonable chance of an Archangel Avacyn, which would be very frustrating, but what can you do? At least Ishkanah could block it until she gets cast out or something. And because we just want board presence, we're going to deploy the trackers en masse. And now our opponent's at 4. And that is usually a good sign, but we do have to earn it. The AI decides that siege modification on our tireless tracker is the respectable way to die. And who am I to argue? In comes team. 4th victory, going into 5th game. A must-win for the deck, back against the wall. It was able to take on the vehicle menace, who did not have vehicles, but did have a rather terrifying built to last play. Who shall our opponent be in this crucial winning in? And where has that Chandra's ignition been that we added especially for these battles? Well, I have played this person a number of times, so I believe we'll have a challenge, and I don't think this hand is good enough. Hand is better, and off to the races. Basically a mid-rangey hand. I'm sure it will do mid-rangey things. I wonder what I'm supposed to play, though, right here. I think we'll go this way. There's usually a very low lost value to tap land turn 1 as compared to other turns of the game. And here comes that brawl. Okay, it's like that. Brawl in session today. Card does not handle a brawl. So I really want the spell mastery, both for you and for you. So I think I'll just make sure grapple resolves right now. And we'll take the land. As we flip 3 lands, I believe? Yeah, doing it. And brawl into veggies. Ambitious. Might have a ramp off, ladies and gents. Of course, our opponent well advantaged at this point with the brawl on the table and the first mover advantage of going first. They have many more permanents on the field at this point than we do. Okay, well, that makes some things possible. Do this now before he can take advantage of the spell discount on his turn. Gotta get one more card type. Sorcery will do. Or wait, no, sorcery is Cathartic Reunion, so we need a creature, but I'm sure that can be arranged. Our opponent is going to spring to mind and continue to pile up the resources. I think we can take a turn here and accumulate some resources of our own. Just leave this up just in case. I think the odds of playing this untapped in the near future are pretty high. But we are well behind if you look at the board. And we will be well behind on cards, potentially. Opponent just passing now? What does that mean? Probably that they want to cast Mind or Pull from tomorrow. So I'll go for the Pilgrimage. And let's get cracking. He wants to use the Lumbering Falls. I think that is just fine. I think that's actually just great. We've already gained 3 clues. I don't think I'll need more than that. Plus, we have another tracker. So, is this a grapple moment? Or more of our heavy? I think this is just going to... But we'll also keep galvanic open. And we'll hold off till their end step to decide what to do. We are still springing to mind. So our opponent's got all the ramp, but do they have the payoff? Crush of Tentacles is a payoff. So is there anything I want? No, nothing like that, but let's draw our card. The grapples are always here. The payoffs having some issues, but the spiders will help. As long as there's not a Chandra's Ignition as the last card in hand. And then what do we do with 2 more mana? We can either Evolving Wilds. I think we'll just wait on that to combine with Tracker at some point. And keep Grapple up so that if we want we can say chump with Ishkanah, grapple it back. You can also kill the 8/8 with the bombardment. There's a Disciple. So do I want to do anything before Disciple resolves? How many cards are in this graveyard? 4? Not that bad. Yeah. I'm going to grapple before that resolves. Okay. Definitely going with you. Let's just make a killer board. Nice flip this time. Where was that last time? And no attacks. He doesn't want to slog through the tokens. I suppose I understand. But let's make him answer this board. And I guess we can make it at instant speed. What does that do? I guess it forces him to use a mana on his turn. If he wants to tap all of the elementals, that is. Parting Water Veil. Nice top deck. Is that a good top deck? What do you think? I think that's pretty good top deck. Still, he's going to have trouble attacking into the elementals as they create lightning bolts. And he knows it. I mean, you can't say the blue-green ramp deck didn't draw the top end. Crush, Disciple, and Part the Water Veil. Along with some springing to mind, so still more to come. Definitely exactly what it wants to do. Can we outpower it? That's the question. Brutal Expulsion. Targets. Okay. I guess I'll do this in response. Hey, we're all thinking man's... Wait, which deck? You're saying I really like this deck. It's a thinking man's ramp deck. Which one? Which deck are you talking about? Who's thinking, me or him? And there's some consideration of what to do here with the 8/8. And reconsidered. Okay, our opponent left the shields down on Disciple, so we have some options. We can replay Omnath, keep that party going. We can kill it with Chandra. We also have the option of using Grapple with the Past to get Glorybringer. That better than having Chandra. A lot of options this turn, and I've got to think it out here. It's quite possible our opponent also uses Pulse of Marasa or a way to get their Disciple out of the graveyard. So I think I would rather have Chandra on the battlefield, because that is something that he could counter in the future with the Disciple. Oh, he does have... Oh, that's okay, though. I've still got one more. He's got the... I forgot he could tap that for mana, which I should have seen and did not. But it's okay. I do have an answer still. I'm getting paid off being a little bit stupid, but that would have also happened if I glory brung. And there's one 8/8 available, but I don't want to sacrifice anything on my board, so we will pass. Mortivore, I'm still wondering, which ramp deck do you want to play, his or mine? My pride is caught up in this now. You have to respond. I need to know. 2 more cards off Mind. Tells me we don't have a way to get back the Disciple or the Crush of Tentacles yet, but I would imagine it's coming. Ah! Zendikar Royal. Haven't seen this in a minute. Whenever our opponent plays a land, they get a 2/2 elemental creature token. How good is that here? 2/2s can be a pain, but I believe we can overcome. We just have a lot of good stuff going on. So this turn, I believe what I want to do more than other things is plus Chandra for mana, play Omnath, which he knows about, and then cast Nissa's Pilgrimage, ramping and making 2 5/5s, and if I'm doing my math right, having 2 mana up at the end so we can crack a clue or grapple. And that seems pretty great to me. We also then can attack with the 5/5s we have, because if our opponent blocks one with the octopus, then Omnath can deal 3 damage to the octopus and kill it. So that's the line I would like to take. Still 3 more forests in the deck. We have to do this part pre-combat because Omnath needs to be on the field for the lightning bolt effect to occur if one of these 5/5s is blocked and killed. So that's why we play Omnath pre-combat in this situation, where usually we might want to save it and keep the information away from the opponent. Regardless of what happens from here, I'm grateful for this rather challenging matchup to determine if our deck is Quest for the Best worthy. Very exciting. Forced me to play pretty good. I did have one oversight with Chandra unable to kill Disciple. but I had the galvanic blast, so it's unclear if I would have still made the... I probably would have still made the same play, even if I saw that angle of it. And now we've got the docent of perfection. Interesting. Is that something I need to bring glory on? Probably. But I think we'll crack a clue instead of grappling first. You never know when censor might be lurking. And it's an Oso. And it's the lightning bolt type of card. Okay. What are we doing? Gonna be another one of those turns. I am confident the 5/5s need to go to work. Does anything else need to go to work? Suppose Omnath could, we'd just get it back. Although it is possible our opponent has a counterspell. These decks often run some Scour to the Winds or something like that. We also haven't seen what the red mana is for, but I'm guessing it's for Geist Blast, which our opponent must not have, or they would have killed the Chandra. I think I will leave Chandra on 2 and do attacks first, and then decide how to proceed. So if our opponent... I could throw a big attack here, but I do not want to die to fog. I think that's a little too risky. So I will use this attack, which is a little bit conservative. There is a commit. Well, we can get back to it okay this turn. We just have to be careful and not shuffle our deck. Do we want to grapple first? Or this resolves? I don't think so. But I will shoot this token so that there are no free blocks. There is the Geist Blast. Interesting. I'm very surprised by that line. It's going to punish me, but I don't think I should have played around it. I think it's really silly that my opponent didn't use that Geist Blast on their turn. So, in a way they got me, but I honestly have no regrets about that. Alright. Opponent's at 10. This comes out for 5. Or we could just redraw Omnath. Running out of time, so I think what the route I'm going to take is just to put down the ballista here. And I don't even think I need to kill it. I don't need to kill that 8/8 here. I think I'll go to the dome with it, and then if it dies, I can grapple it back and dome him again. What's the graveyard highlight? The graveyard highlight is Drownyard Temple and Kozileks Return. There is the memory, though, so much for the graveyard highlight. I had to anticipate that could happen. And now our opponent has a fresh 7 cards to decide how to survive with. Is fog among them? Is fog in this type of deck? We cannot be sure, but we did draw the other ballista. Don't tell him. Shh. Opponent in the tank, as can be expected on a tough turn. And it's a Fall of the Titans. For 5, it appears, which has the potential to kill an elemental. Perhaps he also wants to target the ballista. Okay, choices are being made. Oh, for 6. Well, I would want to do it for 5 and leave my 6/6 available, but my opponent is going up top. Okay. So those are going to die. There's nothing to really be done there. And we will zap the 2/2. Should do it on end step. I thought it was the end step. Could have waited until, but I highly doubt our opponent would attack with the 8/8 here. Now that they don't have enough blockers, this game should be toast. Yeah, they should be dead no matter how blocks occur, so no need to play anything else. And even Stevens. Whew! A worthy battle, and a worthy adversary. And a worthy deck. The deck has been judged worthy for the quest for the best. Cheese Egg says, I don't mean any offense when I ask this, but you remind me of my cousin that suffers from autism. Are you slightly autistic or anything streamer ? Well, you can call me by my name. It's totally cool. You can call me Dan, CGB, or CovertGoBlue. And I don't know. You guys tell me. Am I autistic? Leave it in the comments. All right. That's gonna lock it in. We're going to lock in the red-green Cathartic Ramp deck, questing for the besting. And I know I will be back with a video not too far in the future. Maybe here in just a few minutes if you're watching live. And we'll do another deck. But for today, we're going to set this one aside and bring it back when we continue on Quest for the Best. Later.